and bridges connecting our community.
Yes, ma'am.
So, it be I see that you've done a lot of work in the community. I've seen you work for elected officials,
Yeah,
and you've got some buildings built, and
yeah.
um, but tell us a little bit about you. Those who don't know who Juwan Skeens in and is, and also tell us why you're running for state senate. So,
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Good evening, neighbors. Well, good morning,
good
neighbors. Yeah,
morning.
I've been going to a lot of evening meetings, believe it or not. Good morning, neighbors. My name is Jawan Skeens. I am a candidate running for Massachusetts State Senate, as Priscilla put out. I went to the Joseph Lee School in Dorchester, the Tumulty Middle School inside of Roxbury, and I went to South Boston Excel High School. Two things that helped to shape the direction that I'm currently headed was in transition between middle school and high school. I lost my best friend Stephen Odom when we were both 13 years old to gun violence. He was coming home from playing basketball. He was not gang involved in any way, and he was innocently murdered inside of our neighborhood. And there are no resources in Boston Public Schools that are helping kids to navigate through that trauma. So one thing our neighbors decided to do was come together and form a neighborhood association called Redefining Our Community Neighborhood Association in Dorchester. And through that work, we connect each other to city, state, federal resources to resolve our concerns. In high school, I was the senior class president of my student body. I was the junior varsity debate champion for the Boston Debate League. And basically, I had one goal for me and my classmates was to make sure that we graduated on time. One way I was able to do that was by implementing a tardy buyback program, where for every 3 times a student came on time, one tardy got knocked off. That increased the graduation rates by almost 25%. So I've always applied this outside the box mindset when it comes to not just me, but the helping the other people who are around me as well. So when I was, after high school, you decide, okay, are you going to go to college? Are you going to work full time? That's really, the choice is given at anyone who turns 18 years old. And basically, I didn't feel secure in my transition to go into college right away. You had 2 guidance counselors to almost 200 to 300 graduating seniors. So not everyone got their individualized time with the guidance counselor to feel secure to make that transition. I was accepted to 2 different colleges. One college, I wasn't familiar with, so I didn't really go that route. And one college was Suffolk University, and they were asking for $32,000 a year. I was not willing to put my family inside of that kind of debt without fully understanding how I was going to pay it off. So I decided to work full time. I worked customer service positions. I would say since I was 13 years old, I had my first job through the Boston Youth Fund. When it was at Magazine Street. I've been working since 13 years old. I haven't looked back since. I would say, through those customer service jobs, I was at home minding my business. I get a knock at my front door. It's Andrea Campbell. She lets me know that she's running for District 4 Boston City Council. I said, great, what is that? Because inside of high school, they don't teach you exactly what the Boston City Council is, what they do. So I volunteered on her campaign from May to November of 2015. She brought me aboard full-time as her neighborhood liaison January 2016. Since then, I served for 2.5 years, connecting not just Rock as an area that I was covering, but almost 22 other neighborhood associations that touch Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan, connecting them to city, state, federal resources. I was attending the Boston Zoning Board hearings as well, making sure that we were approving, opposing, delaying housing projects as needed for our community. In addition to that, before I left out of the office, given my connection to high school and knowing knowing that those kids just need an extra hand, I worked with our office to create a Boston Youth Expo. So it was the first 4 female city councilors that came together to basically put on a youth resource fair for kids who were definitely inside of high school looking to transition or get into after school programs or jobs, because definitely I know how it is when we're going out to try to find those resources versus if those resources are available to us. So after my work on the council, I became a youth worker at the Jackson Man Community Center because I had a passion for the youth. I was basically, managing their teen entrepreneurial business venture called Boston Body Butter, because butter makes the body better. That was the jingle. And I was also managing their year-round and summer employment programs. So I was helping to make sure that they had a safe space to come to and they had activities to do after they got out of school. After that work, I felt like I wasn't giving back to my community because I was at the Jackson Man Community Center in Alston, Brighton, but I was born and raised here in Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, and I felt like we were still at a disconnect. So I quit from working for the city entirely. I became a full-time community organizer for my neighborhood association, Redefine Our Community. And basically from there, I've been managing the Norfolk Street Bridge. Inside of our area, I have a full Facebook page dedicated to advocating for over 4 years of public safety improvements for our area. In addition to that, we created a petition, had night walks on the bridge. So that bridge is still a work in progress. But separate from that, the COVID-19 pandemic, I would say, is what sparked my reason to run for office. I saw the disconnect. As a community organizer, I went around to each of the businesses that surround my area. I was connecting them to those resources for understanding what loans and grants are out there for them to apply to, for them to expand their businesses. There was a lot of language barriers. The city wasn't as being proactive to giving those resources to the community. Because I knew where the resources were, I played that part in bringing it to them. I seen how people were displaced through housing. Inside of the COVID-19 pandemic. I saw the deaths that were happening. I was a COVID community educator. I was educating people about the vaccines. I was educating people on how to stay safe, social distance, navigating through the COVID-19 pandemic. I say all this to say that the work that I do has never stopped. It continues to grow. And I would say as of most recently, through my work with Rock as well, I'm the director of a life skills training and wellness center that is coming to 872 Morton Street in Mattapan. That was through the COVID-19 pandemic. That's how we responded. We said we need a space to educate each other on how to navigate through any pandemic, but also learn how to build generational wealth and wellness as well. So basically, we started a petition, got over 900 signatures. I've earned the support of about 14 neighborhood associations. Out of those 14 neighborhood associations, some of those were part of the 22 neighborhood associations that I managed when I was working for the city. So basically, it was my way of giving back to the community. Now that I know better, I do better.
Okay, so tell me why you want to be the state senator.
I want to be the state senator for Massachusetts because I feel like we need better representation. When I say that we deserve a candidate who's going to be reliable, accessible, transparent, and effective for our needs, I mean that. We need people who are going to be reliable and show up in spaces. We need people who are going to be accessible and responding to our concerns. We need people who are going to be transparent, letting us know where they stand on the issue. And we need people who are going to be effective, that's going to follow up, right? It's not about just implementing things. It's about following up to make sure it's actually working. And I'm your candidate to get that done.
Okay. So, how has it, I know last year you ran for city council at Lodge, right?
Yes.
And you did a sticker campaign.
Yes.
So tell me, how was that?
Yeah, all right. One thing I've learned is nobody's going to teach you how to take their job. And I say that because, I've always, in high school, I've always had a passion for, serving, leading the community. It wasn't until, I started working for Andrea that I understood what politics was and how to, what civic engagement really was. I would say, yeah, it inspired me just to be like more aware of the things around me, advocating for the people, who live next to me and getting to know my neighbors, putting that neighbor back a neighborhood, right? But yeah, I would say overall, like the goal that we're trying to bring to the Massachusetts State Senate is just bring a little bit more transparency out of there. I feel like a lot of people don't trust government because they're not clear on where they're going. They're not clear on their stances for what they're going to do, and there's no follow-up. You know what I mean? So those are the biggest things.
Okay. So, you say that you're the director of the Life Skills Training and Wellness Center,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that's located at 872 Morton Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, didn't that's a new development over there, right?
Mhm.
I believe Donald Alexis is
Donald Alexis.
built that, and from what I understand, there's like 20 units for like housing, like affordable housing.
Yeah.
And then there's also 20 units for home ownership.
Yeah.
And I like that model,
Yep. So yeah, thank you. So the goal was to have mixed income housing. So we wanted, I believe it's 12 affordable home ownership units and 28 rental units. The goal was to push for as many affordable home ownership opportunities that we can have inside of that building. And basically it's 40 units at 872 Morton Street. You have the Life Skills Training and Wellness Center that's going to be on the back of the building with our own office space. Then on the outside of the building, to honor Stephen, we have the Stephen P. Odom Serenity Garden that's going to be developing over the next year.
Okay. So how is it? You are on the ballot this year.
I am on the ballot, and to expand on that, the write-in candidacy. Last year, I did run for write-in, and I want to let everyone know that the sticker campaign. And to be honest with you, it was a learning experience because it's like you're going out, you have to go out and collect the signatures to get your name printed on the ballot. I had no issues doing that, but the issue that I ran into was, one of the banks that I was working with, they didn't know how to open up the account. It was a special account that needed to be opened. Some of those banks didn't know how to open it up. Some of them weren't calling me back. Some of them lost my paperwork. So it was literally one thing after the other. And I could have bowed out last year. You know what I mean? I could have said, this ain't for me. I ain't working this. But I said these issues are way too much important. These issues are greater than me. Right. So I didn't mind, taking the bullet and, going that full cycle, election cycle. And I ended up getting 1,600 votes out of that election last year.
So that was good.
Yeah.
It's hard running the sticker campaign.
It is.
I only know one person that ran one successfully and won, and that is former Senator Diane Wilkerson.
Yeah.
So she has the answers, I believe. So
yeah.
about that. But yes. But so I'm excited to see you running because you're young, you're energetic, you have energy, you get around, you know how to get around. And it's good that you worked in city government, especially for someone like Andre Campbell, because I know that she is the type of person that she probably gave you a lot of inspiration.
Yeah.
She probably taught you a lot, and she probably made sure that you knew what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so I think, I work for city government as well for over close to 20 years. I ran the payroll.
Wow.
But I also worked in the Elder Age Strong Commission. They done changed all the names, everything, except for Treasury. They'll probably never change that name. But yeah, but it's good to see you out and about and fellowshipping and talking to people and letting them know who you are. It's kind of running for office is not easy.
No, it's
especially citywide.
Yeah.
I know. I've been there, done that, and it's a lot of work.
Yes.
And so this space, this area that you are running for now.
Yes.
This is the first Suffolk.
Yes.
Now, was there some redistricting done through this district? Where when they redistrict, did your district get bigger, smaller?
Yeah,
So
I would say overall, every 10 years, as you know, they do the redistricting process. I would say what you see in front of you for those who can't see online, on the back of my flyers, I do include a map of the first Suffolk district. But basically, this is how they redistricted over the years and how they sectioned off the city. So the first Suffolk covers the South End, Back Bay, South Boston, the Seaport area, basically the entirety of Dorchester and South Boston as well. So basically, I ran for this office because definitely I felt like, this particular part of the city has been, at least Dorchester specifically, I feel like has been left behind for far too long. I don't feel like the resources have been coming down here. As I said, I've been managing the Norfolk Street Bridge for over 4 years now. I've been advocating for improvements to our public safety. When I first started on advocating for it, a young lady got shot and lost her life. Just about a month ago, another young lady got shot in the leg and took herself to B3 police station.
Wow.
I get triggered by these situations because I lost my best friend to gun violence.
Right.
So the fact that we keep waiting for something to happen is what triggers me. And it's like we have the resources to be proactive and do something, because right now I feel like, the more that we wait, the more blood that is on the hands of these elected officials as we wait to see how they want to improve our conditions around us.
I think we got a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Priscilla. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Sadiqi?
Doing all right. Yeah, I was calling in because of the fact that, I sent you the notice, but want to share something here that I think relates to the conversation that you're having right now. And it pertains to the issue around the John D. O'Brien High School situation, and also the library that we want to rename to Nubian Library, Nubian Square. And so essentially what it is that on Friday the 10th, we're calling on the community to come down to Boston City Hall, 5th floor, which is the office of Mayor Wu. We have not requested a meeting with her. We've themed it, we're coming 3, because, we went down there December 14th, because we know if we ask for a meeting, we won't get it.
Right.
And basically, we're going to go in there and demand that she and her administration follow up with the promise that they had made before the previous meetings between her and with Dion Irish, that number one, when it comes to the O'Brien, that no more of this foolishness about we're not sure where it's going to be. The bottom line is there was an agreement that what was necessary would be done to keep the O'Brien right where it is with Madison Park, and that would include bringing in architect David Lee, who said he can come up with an architectural design to keep both schools at their present location. So we're saying to folks, come down there to Boston City Hall tomorrow, 10:30 a.m., the 10th, and at 11 o'clock we have a meeting scheduled that we're calling for. Now we're going to see if she shows up at 11 o'clock to talk to her about the O'Brien situation and also about the library. So I just thought I wanted to share that with yourself and the young man and the listening audience, that we want the community to show up tomorrow so we can make it very clear that we're not going to be played with.
You're absolutely right about that. And do you have a flyer that I can share around as well?
Yeah, if you can get me your email, I can get it to you. In fact, I know that Priscilla has it, but if you get me your email, I can definitely get it to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my email is Skeens for Senate. So SKEE, and is in Nancy, S is in Sam, FOR Senate, SENATE at gmail.com.
You kind of broke up there a little bit, son. Can you give me that again?
Yep. So Skeens, SKEE, and is in Nancy, S is in Sam.
Skeen. Okay, Skeens at what?
Well, it's Skeens. So SKEE, and is in Nancy, S is in Sam.
Yeah, I got that.
For Senate, FOR.
Oh, I can spell for.
No, you're good. Skeens
Yep.
for Senate, SENATE
At what?
at gmail.com. And I'm also on every form of social media, so definitely if you type in my name, you'll get.
All right, I'll send it to you. So it's Skeens at Senate. What's the last part?
Skeens for Senate at gmail.com.
Okay, got you.
Thank you so much.
All right. You should come on down. Priscilla, I hope you're going to head on down like you did the last time.
I can't because I have another appointment at 10 a.m. and I can't miss it. So
Oh, I got you.
I
All
can't,
right.
But me,
Have a good day.
I don't know. I right now it don't look like I'm gonna make it, but prayerfully, some other community people will come. But thank you.
All righty.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
Bye bye. Yeah, there's so much happening. There's so much happening in Boston,
Yeah.
and this is an election year. This is also presidential election year. Meanwhile, one of the candidates that's running for president is on trial. I just, there's so much is going on. It's unbelievable how. I just don't. I don't get
It
it.
makes you think how loose our laws are, right? You know?
Loose ain't the word. Loose ain't the word.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
like,
lot of loopholes.
do
you
what
know?
you want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm sure they'll probably have some debates, and if someone wanted to get in touch with you, if someone wanted to support you, how could they get in touch with you?
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
give them your email and your phone number and.
I am on every form of social media. So if you would like to follow me, keep in touch. My Facebook is Jawan K. Skeens for Massachusetts Senate. That's MA Senate, not the full Massachusetts. For Twitter, you can at me at Skeens for Senate. For Instagram, you can at me at Skeens for Senate. I provided my email, skeensforsenate at gmail.com, or reach out to me via phone anytime.
Give them the number.
857-453-4223, and you can reach me directly.
Okay. So tell us some more, other things that you would like to see that you think are tangible, because we know that when people get into elected office, and I believe that a lot of people go in there with the right mindset, but what happens is they get in there and it's messy, it's political, it's really like sometimes they just don't get an opportunity to do what they need to do.
Sure.
I have to give a shout out to my girl Julia Mejia, because she always shows up. She's not afraid.
Yeah.
She speaks her mind, and she speaks the truth.
Yeah.
And she, like I said, she shows up. And so I appreciate her for the work that she does in our community.
Yeah.
So there's an issue that I have.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up, but you know that we had started the prayer back up at City Hall, and we had 3 of them. We had one. The first one was Valentine's Day. We said God is love. That was the theme. 6 of our city councilors attended. They were seemed to be very happy about it. They were glad to have it there. And then the next month was March, and we had another one. And then our third one was May 1st. And that was our third one. And we were told by city council president that we could not pray there no more because it may lead to a lawsuit, which I have no idea how praying. And I prayed in City Hall for 5 years. From 2000 to 2005, Council Yancey made it possible for us to have the Curly Room from 1 to 2 every Tuesday. And we had outside people come in. We had people from City Hall. We had people from City Council come in. And there was never, so we need to find out how is it, I guess we have to go to the law department to find out how is it, how can a lawsuit be filed for praying? Because we invite all religions. I pray in the name of Jesus, but we welcome other religions, and everybody's able to pray in their own language, in their own spiritual guidance.
Right.
And so I'm still waiting to find out, to hear what's going on, because that's what happened. We took prayer out of school, and look what happened. Right. And so there's nothing, I don't see anything wrong, and I would like to see it in writing that says we are not allowed to pray in City Hall in a public place.
I mean, it's interesting because on the back of our dollars it says "In God We Trust." We start every prayer, every council meeting in prayer.
With prayer,
So I mean, personally for me, I come from a church background. I attended Christ Temple Church, a personal experience in Roxbury since I was born and raised. I know prayer changes things.
It sure does. It sure does.
I mean, personally, for me, I think it's outrageous that, this is where we are in 2024. We're trying to continue to set our people back every which way possible. It's unfortunate, especially who made that call. It's unfortunate who it's coming from, if that is where it came from. But for me, I understand prayer changes. Prayer changes things, and and I believe a song says, "I pray for you, you pray for me, and watch God change things." Right. So I mean, I just feel like it's outrageous. I think it's not taking away from anything that the council is doing.
Right.
It's a safe space to have clergy come together, fellowship, and pray over the council. So it gives them more strength, a spiritual strength, to carry through the work that they're doing.
I know, because we are in these last and evil days, and we know that we're in spiritual warfare,
Right.
and we don't fight against flesh and blood, but
Right.
principalities.
Right.
So it's just it's disheartening to hear that. But I'm the type of person, I don't give up, and
Right.
so I need to see something in writing that says I can't come pray in City Hall.
I agree.
I'll tell you, because I will gather a whole lot of people, and we'll come down there on Wednesday, and we'll pray through the whole city council hearing. So I just, it's just so unfair, because I know when we prayed, we started in 2000, and we prayed to 2005, and then we disband. But in 2008, we got our first black city council at large, Then in 2010 we got our first Asian American city council, and so it's like, it definitely shows that prayer does change things, because if you look at City Hall now, we have a 27-year-old citywide city councilor, Henry Santana, and so we're not hurting nobody,
Right.
And it's needed, because there's so much confusion down there. Some of our city councilors, they don't show up for hearings. They don't show up for roll calls. And it's just, it's like, why can't we have city councilors and people that really care about the people, and not about their pockets, or not about who they are and what they are? Because when it comes down to it, we're all children of God. But everybody has a different way of thinking about
Right.
God and a different way of worshiping Him
Right.
and praising Him.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, I don't see how prayer in City Hall could.
Interrupt someone's
Yeah.
spirit.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't understand it.
So I had to
Yeah.
I had to mention that because
Yeah.
I just some people I don't understand, and what makes it so bad that this person who sent the letter was in the prayer for the first two prayer meetings.
Wow.
So I mean, if that was an issue, why didn't you say something in the beginning?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you went
With-
through 3 prayers and then waited until the 3rd prayer to say, this isn't working.
We believe that someone complained or something. I don't know. Maybe they thought we were a little bit too loud.
I mean, I would like to hear them say it to the clergy, to be honest with you. I really would. And explain it, because it's like right now, it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And when actually, I wasn't even a minister when we started this prayer in 2000. I was just a person that was going to church every Sunday and felt like we needed to have prayer in City Hall.
Yeah.
And Councilor Yancey made it happen.
Yeah.
And so there's, I'm gonna see. I haven't been back. I haven't been back down to City Hall for a minute, but
And
I think since the prayer, that's the last time I was there.
Yeah.
First, but I will be coming back down there. Trust
Yeah.
me, and so hopefully we can resolve it.
Yeah.
Hopefully something can come of it, because I know I'm a living witness that prayer changes
Yeah,
things.
and I would like to give credit to Councilor Yancey for being a trailblazer, and bringing prayer into the council. Advocating for the Mattapan Square Library. He's done a lot of great things. The
He
longest
has.
serving city councilor in history. So he's done a lot of great things, and I definitely want to raise him up at this time
Exactly.
as well. Yeah.
Exactly. I always say he's my favorite counselor.
Yeah.
He's my favorite city counselor. And he, it would have been nice to see him as our mayor.
Yeah.
Because he had the most experience, of working in the city. And even though he was a district city councilor, he didn't just stay in his area. He did things in other areas of the city
Oh, yes,
too.
absolutely.
I mean, I've heard some city councilors, you ask them to come to an event outside their district, and they're like, "Oh no,
No, what is that
not my-"
for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think that brings confusion
yeah.
with at the state house. There's a lot of overlap, I guess.
Jurisdiction issues. It's
and-
annoying.
Right, because the bottom line is you're serving the people. Just because we
Right.
live in one district or the other district,
Right.
it doesn't matter. You're
Right.
still a servant
Housing
of the
is
people.
the same thing,
Exactly.
whether you're in Worcester or if you're in Dorchester. Housing
Yeah.
is the same thing.
So the issues are the same. The people that you represent have the same issues. So
Yeah.
instead of a tug of war about this is my turf, this is my, they're worse than the youth.
Yeah, it's
This
true.
is this
Yeah.
is my district. No,
Yeah.
no, you can't do. I mean that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
you know? And so hopefully and prayerfully we get some new blood in, and things will change.
Yeah.
Because we are the people and we have the power.
Yeah, you got that right.
So I just want to be selfish for a minute and announce my event.
Okay, go ahead.
On the 19th of May, from 2 to 6, Marcus Anthony Hall Educational Institute will be having its 3rd cohort of graduates. It will be held at the Bruce Boland Building on the 6th floor from 2 to 6. And we have some exciting speakers. And we are not charging a ticket price, but we are asking people to donate. Go to the website www.mahei.org and send us a donation. As some of you all know, I've been doing this work with you for a while. Mm-hmm. But Marcus Anthony was someone that was near and dear to me, and I have connected not only with his mother but his son's mother and his son, and it's really been good meeting them. I've run into some other people that used to work with me a while ago, and they're coming back out to help me. So I'm very excited about this. If you go to our website, www.mahei.org, register. All I'm asking is that you register. If you don't want to, you want to attend, but you can't afford a donation, or feel free to come. I just need a count of the people who's gonna come, and it's next Sunday. These months just flew by.
Yeah.
They literally flew by. We started this in January, and so we have about 15 students that are gonna be graduating.
Yeah.
And we have some surprises. It's gonna really, really, really be nice. And so I'm hoping that we'll see your face in the place. But also there's I'm gonna announce this. This is, I believe it's the 15th. I believe it's the 15th. It's Stacy Borden, who's running for governor's council, is having her kickoff campaign. I believe it's at the DeWitt Center.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that, because we need a governor's counselor just like Stacy Borden.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stacy Borden is a returning citizen.
Mm-hmm.
She came out. She got her act together.
Mm-hmm.
She runs a house with 10 former incarcerated women.
Yeah.
They have a program there that the women are able to stay at least 18 months.
Wow.
They help them get they help them get jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They help them get housing.
Mm-hmm.
They help them get like mental health, if they have mental health issues or, health period, and they literally take these women in and help these women. And then, so when they're done with this program, the women are able to be free, really be free,
And self-sustained.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And she has an event. I think this is her 3rd year. It's the New Beginnings Resource Fair, and it's held in that lot at the post office in Grove Hall.
Okay.
And she's looking for vendors and people with resources, that have information for the community. A lot. Last year, the nation, they were teaching people how to make jam.
All right.
I think it was blueberry jam they were giving away. Yes, and so it's a nice event. I believe it's August 12th, but I'll have more information next week.
Okay.
But
All right.
just there's a lot of good things that are happening.
Yeah. And speaking of good things, I actually want to promote this event that's happening down the street from us. It's called, hold on, give me 30 seconds. It's going to be a re-entry fair that's going on at 44 Moultrie Street. Give me 30 seconds. I want to make sure I get this right here. So it's called, so it's going to be a Boston re-entry fair. May 18th from 11 a.m. To 3 p.m. It's going to be at the Second Church of Dorchester at 44 Moultrie Street. And you have the organization Prophetic Resistance Boston leading that work. So anybody looking to receive reentry services can also go to this location on May 18th.
Okay, thank you. I actually had the pleasure of, thanks to you, Juwan, going to a prophetic resistance workshop.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting how they tied everything to the Bible, and that's what I really liked, and I believe some of the youth enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
And so I liked them. I definitely want to work with them some more. Maybe Mahi can become a partner with them, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about collaboration.
Yeah.
And working. And we have a lot of different, now that the city is giving the money out to people to help, with reentry services,
Yeah.
And so it's about time,
You got that right.
Really.
You're right.
And so, because we have a lot of people that are coming out of prison for things that they've done, and they've paid their price, and they should be able to have a the rest of their life to live in peace
I
and
agree.
have a
Housing,
place to stay.
jobs,
Yes.
yeah, skills,
And also, there's people who are in there that didn't do what they were accused of,
Yeah.
you know, and they should have the same rights, you
Yeah.
know. And there should be compensation.
They deserve a retrial, a trial again with their peers, right? As constitutionally required. So
Right.
right.
So, but yeah, so there's a lot of good things that's coming up. I know that there's going to be a march on Washington in June 15th. And I also know that there's going to be a,
Yeah.
and I don't know if this is this is the Poor People's Campaign.
Yep.
On, I believe it's June 15th. And then there's going to be another, the Free Her movement with Andrea James and Justice's Family Justice's Healing, which she also works with Stacey Borden.
Wow.
Yeah, they
Okay.
both work on helping women in reentry, you know, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So it's, you know, it's one thing when you you get out of prison and you don't do nothing, or there's limited resources.
Right.
But when people come out and they just push forward and say, I'm going to help this person, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And so it's good to see that women are coming out. Some people have been in prison, I mean, for a long, long time. I mean,
Yeah.
30 years,
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine.
entire life.
Your entire
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
And then for something you didn't do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's crazy. So what if you have the death penalty and you killing all these people and they ain't even guilty,
Yeah.
you know? So
I mean, and it's one thing I do appreciate the city giving an apology, to folks who, come out that were wrongly convicted, but we do need to do a little bit more.
we need to do a lot more
lot
than
more,
apology,
a lot
all
more.
right?
Yeah,
Because
more
you
than
done
an
spent
apology.
20 and 30 years of your life
Yeah.
in prison for something you didn't do.
Right.
Yeah, apology is nice, but
Yeah.
what about some resources?
I agree.
What about had I been able to work for those 30 years?
Right.
You know what?
With
know,
interest,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
need to keep up with the cost of living.
Yeah, that's reparations. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I see that you're going to be testifying also
Yes,
on the 18th for the
yes.
reparations thing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to come
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah, I invite all the community,
Mm-hmm.
if you can make it to the hearing on May 18th at 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Boston People's Reparations Commission hearing is going to be at the Bruce Bowling Building down in Nubian Square. Definitely come down, come
What floor?
testify. I believe it may be the second floor, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But always check in with the staff at the front desk if you have any questions. But yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody down there.
Yeah. And what time does that start, Joe? 10?
10 a.m. 10 a.m.
I think
Yeah.
there's also the Malcolm X breakfast that day.
Yeah. There's a lot going
yeah.
on that day. A lot going on that day.
But when we talk about reparations, right? I'm curious because the city has had their own reparations committee.
Yeah.
I believe they're supposed to be finished in December or January.
Yeah,
And they're supposed to have a report. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just I just gotta be honest. I don't see a lot being done with that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they I believe they've hired some researchers. I know that they hired some researchers to do to determine or whatever.
All right.
But there's no question about it that we should have reparations, okay?
Right.
There's no question.
Yeah.
We know what the history is here in Boston.
Right.
You know, so, I mean, there's been so many surveys and so many reports, you know?
Yeah.
We deserve reparations. You know, I don't care how you look at it, how you figure it out, but
Yeah.
we should.
Yeah.
I mean, how could other
Cultures.
get reparations when we built this country
Yeah.
on our backs, literally on our backs?
I 100% agree. And reparations is all about repairment of a culture, right? And as you guys know, Abraham Lincoln, will go all the way back there, He freed some of the slaves, right? But he began to give out the land back to the slaves.
That was part that was
part of
the
the
40
reparations, right?
in a mule.
40 acres and a mule.
Yeah.
He began to go through that process. Then he was assassinated throughout that process. His
and the person that took his place
gave the land back to the slave owners because as a result of them losing their slaves and the money of them losing their slaves. So it was already meant to happen. We've just been stifled and stopped every which way possible from being successful. Now the city has restarted the conversation. The city has both the reparations task force that's been appointed by the mayor. And then you have kind of the people of the Boston's checks and balance to that task force, and that's called the Boston People's Reparations Commission. And
that's the commission that Kevin Peterson runs.
Peterson runs. I am a commissioner since last year on the Boston People's Reparations Commission, and I attend those task force meetings as well, making sure that they understand what we're advocating for when it comes to reparations.
So when you have these community meetings, because you have one on the 18th, what happens first of all, what happens at the meetings, which I don't know. And then after the meetings, what happens? Like, is there, like, are you all able to, like, meet with the city appointed reparations people? How is that working?
If you ask me, the way the city
I'm
task
asking
force,
you.
well, the way that the city task force operates, basically they have the agenda that they'll email out that they want to accomplish, and it doesn't really touch on too much. A lot of it's really like, okay, they've been hiring lately the historic researchers of slavery and reparations, both past and present. So they've just went through that process of electing everybody within the last, I want to say, 2 or 3 months. Now that research is being done, the members of the task force, their jobs may be up for renewal this coming December. So I've been pushing the task force to come out with getting more support for the people who are on the board, making sure that their jobs are secured, potentially even coming up with some type of payment for their work that they're doing.
The community board or the city?
The task force. The task force. The city. It's part of the city. So that's the city.
Oh, okay.
And basically it's like, we volunteer our time trying to do all of this work when we really need to be paid in order to, do it effectively. Have a budget to market, flyer, outreach the community effectively. And I just don't feel like we're being as intentional as we could be to bringing reparations to Boston. But I do understand it's a process for everybody. I can't rush anybody, but at the same time, I can hold folks accountable. And that's what I intend to do at each of these meetings.
Okay. I'm going to try to make it to one of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
The 18th, that's the day before my event.
Yeah.
I probably ain't going to want to be at nobody's meeting.
I hear you.
I'll be running around. But I would love to sit and sit in on it. So I'm going to be at the Bruce Boland building. That must be the event. What time is that event again, son?
At 10 a.m. May 18th, reparations hearing.
And it starts at 10?
10 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you say you think it's on the second floor?
Yeah, it should be on the second floor. Okay. Yeah.
So we'll probably announce that again
As
next
we get
Thursday.
closer.
Yeah, and maybe they'll probably be talking about it on Ma'am Leo too.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 minutes, Pastor.
Okay.
That's all?
I know. The time flew by.
Time goes by when you're having fun. Pastor, you ain't haven't said nothing.
I'm keeping you on the air.
Well,
I'm chatting.
Oh, you're chatting with people?
I'm not here.
Are there any comments? Anybody? No? Nobody's listening to us?
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, hopefully those that got us on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll share around. I'll share the
Yeah.
video.
But yeah, so we only have 3 minutes, Jawan.
Yeah.
So again, I think give out your information so people can contact you. Especially, I know you're looking for, as any candidate is, volunteers and
Yes.
donations.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes.
And you have an ActBlue account.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, as of right now, everybody, I thank you all for listening. Right now, what we need on our team is volunteers to help us do outreach and fundraise. And we need donations. We need to get some marketing materials to be able to outreach the community and continue doing this important work that God called us to do. Basically,